afternoon and welcome to Afternoon Express. Tomorrow is Workers' Day and we have HR specialist Tatu Mabalani in the studio to uncover what a work spouse is, and we're going to give you some tips on how to recover from a bad day at work. In the kitchen, we are making the best sami ever for work and some peanut butter balls for that afternoon brain fog. But for now, it's over to Pali and Tatu.
Thank you so much, Z. Now, just as in any other relationship, we have friendships with our colleagues at work too. The modern term for it is your work spouse. So what is a work spouse? And whilst you give that some thought, let me introduce our first guest, Tato Mabelane. Welcome back to The Love, Tato.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Tato, there are so many ways we can phrase this, whether it's a work bestie, a work spouse, but can you just break down this concept?
Sure. So work spouse is basically a platonic relationship that one has with a colleague. It is not gender-based. It can be female to female or male to male or female to male. It's basically based on very high levels of disclosure, trust, loyalty, and respect. So that person becomes your support and your go-to to help you navigate, your way around the company. And most companies have actually started using the term and not as work spouse because, that's very suspicious.
It could be tricky. It could get tricky at home.
At home, exactly. So they call it a buddy.
Yeah.
So companies introduce that as part of their induction. When somebody joins a company, they already have in their pre-employment documents that they have appointed them as a buddy, and then that buddy is maybe Zareda, and Zareda will help you find where the bathrooms are, what company policies are, and she can act as your sounding board and things like that. So they're very, very good benefits to have one.
Yeah, I think I've got several work buddies.
Me too. I've got three.
Yeah, and that is the beauty of it because as you've kind of mentioned, these people, these buddies, or I call them work besties, they also help you navigate the workspace.
Of course. And they also help you with with productivity because they've been in the company for longer than you. So if you've got a project, you go to them, they can tell you, okay, follow this step or that step and speak to that person. So it's quicker for you to be productive, And
I want to dive deeper into the values aligning. I mean, the moral support that having a work buddy kind of plays.
So it's mostly people that have the same values that can sort of feed into each other. There's actually a model that I discovered in 2017. It's called basically an emotional tank. Oh. So what it looks like, it's basically like a tank like that, and at the top the model says invest. So you invest emotions, and then at the bottom of that tank there's like a tap, and it says withdraw. So with work spouse relationships, because you form such platonic relationships, like you first invest emotions to each other, like helping you navigate the new space, whatever, and then when the person is going through some tough time, they can come to you and actually withdraw. And by that, I mean they can come to you with their problems and go, I've got problems at home, or I've got problems with my department manager. So it's like a proper relationship, intimate, where you have good times and you also have challenging times where you help each other navigate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned just at the top of our conversation, maximizing productivity.
Absolutely.
For someone like me, it could minimize productivity because I'm a yapper, I'm talkative, I'm a chatterbox. I actually might distract you. You might not end up sending that email. But then you actually introduced a flip side that it could potentially maximize your productivity.
Absolutely. Because if you think about it, when you are new, when you are navigating your space, and if you don't have like landmines or like points to go here, then it might take you longer, you know. But if you have a work buddy, you can just ask, and they're like, no, go there, then speak to that one, then you're fine.
Absolutely. I can only imagine the amount of red tape that happens within not only corporate spaces, but I suppose any industry. And you might find yourself going the long way round with solving any type of problem, and they are able to help you. Also, they're able to tell you, avoid this, avoid that. These are some of the hurdles I've experienced, and this is how you can overcome them without having to experience it within yourself. Now, how meaningful do these friendships and work buddy relationships go? Because, as we did say, it could cause some trouble at home.
So I've been in human resources for 17 years, and as there's the office, we sort of, people report everything to our office. We've had instances in my experience where people actually then go the other way and then actually have an actual relationship, which becomes very tricky to manage because it's like work outputs and then now there's the emotions involved and it doesn't end well.
Yeah.
It never ends well.
So it's extremely advisable to not turn a workplace friendship or buddy into an intimate one, because no one wants to experience a workplace breakup.
No, not a good idea.
We all spend so much time at our place of work, and a work spouse can provide a supportive and fulfilling friendship in the workplace. Stay tuned as successful businesswoman Amy Kleinhans is in the house.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
Baie welkom. Ons is vandag by Spar Protea Hoogte Apteek. Soos julle kan sien, ons motto daar agter op die bord is lag is die beste medisyne, en dit is absoluut die motto van ons apteek. I believe a company like Adcock Ingram is cardinal in our makeup in this pharmacy. They deliver very good products, very good services to us. And it's nice to recommend good products to our customers. We're always helpful and friendly, and the reason for that is we enjoy what we do. All the people in the pharmacy, all the staff complement is exactly the same. We really enjoy, we like coming here in the mornings, serving people properly, and making friends of our customers.
I can come set from home, but always when I work in here, I always leave with a smile, actually, because of the friendliness that I get in the store and friendliness that I get from the Brackenfell community.
We know your name, we know when you enter what medication it is that you use, and every time you come here, you will find us here. There won't be somebody else.
When customers leave our shop, they will always be happy and always want to come back and get the same good service that we always provide them with.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Inspiring communities, one pharmacy at a time.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat, we've left no stone unturned. Until finally, South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with Allergex Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
In 1992, she made history by becoming the first female of color to be crowned Miss South Africa. And today, she's a successful entrepreneur and businesswoman. Mzansi, please give it up for a true South African icon, Miss Amy Kleinhans Kurd. I remember vividly the day you were crowned Miss South Africa. That was a huge, huge, momentous occasion for all girls of color.
Definitely, and you give away your age when you remember that.
But age is a privilege of time. I love aging. It's beautiful to age.
Yes.
I mean, Amy,
exactly.
do you actually think about how significant that was for little girls of color to locate themselves in you?
You know, that's an interesting question, Z, because I had no idea the enormity and the gravitas of the impact.
Yeah.
I just did my best, showed up, won the crowd over and the judges, because I was definitely not the prettiest or the most intelligent. I just was in the right place at the right time. But when I landed at the Cape Town airport for the first time after I was crowned, it was like, what's going on here? Is there a minister arriving or an international guest, or what's going on here? And they go, no, the crowd is here because of you.
Wow.
And I think that day it really sunk in that not only was I crowned, and symbolically, politically it was significant,
Yes.
but an entire nation of people that had no voice.
Yeah.
It was also crowned, which is amazing. It's
Beautiful.
amazing, yeah.
And I want to segue into, we've just celebrated Freedom Day, and I know that you had a really special relationship with Madiba. When you think about freedom, and you think about your relationship with him, what does that conjure up for you? Like, what are some of the memories that come up for you at that time?
Oh, so many different ones, but the most important for me is the sense of joy that he created for us. You know, we had a dispensation of sadness and violence and huge international judgment from the world. And he just brought us so much joy. He embodied that joy. And I think that's got a lot to also do with us as human beings, whether we talk about the workspace or just social, whatever. If you think about freedom, it must be, when you say you're free, you must be full of joy. And so there's many little moments dotted in my life with my relationship with Tata that he used to make me laugh or would give me another angle to life, or I could get quite serious and deep, you know. And he'd keep it light and just go, don't take it so seriously, it's okay, Ames. You know, today's newspaper front page is tomorrow's toilet paper in some long drop, you know what I mean? Don't worry about it. You know, and so don't give it audience.
Beautiful, beautiful. Gorgeous. Now, one of the things I love about you, and I'm sure the nation appreciates about you too, is that you continue to evolve and you continue to elevate yourself. I mean, you're sitting here decades later, and we are not interviewing you because of Miss South Africa, but we're interviewing you because of the businesswoman and successful entrepreneur that you are today. So please speak to us about that transition. What has it been like? What does it feel like to be a leader? And what does it feel like to motivate and inspire people that work with you?
Whoa, that's loaded.
But you can answer that.
What are you thinking here? Okay, geez, where do I start? Okay, so for me, I would always say that be careful what you wish for, because I always used to say, and use the quote repeatedly, you know, Gandhi said, be the change you want to see, you know, embody it, show others how to do it. And I think, you know, first of all, I have a very teachable heart. I love learning new things, and I love the adventure of change. I really, really love change. And it sounds terrible, but if somebody, for instance, says to me, Ames, the seasons, describe yourself. I love autumn and I love spring. I love the change. So I think going into business was almost automatically a path for me to choose, because it was different. I'm a teacher, studied at UCT, went from home into UCT and schooling, and then back schooling. I mean, and then to break away from that, because we don't come from an entrepreneurial family, was hugely exciting. And then applying and taking what I had as an educator and combining it with, you know, the whole commercial world, and starting dialect teacher with Madiba in 2000. And then marriage is a huge challenge, and children. But it is, life is exciting, and I choose, my advice probably to anybody is, be the change you want to see. And just love what you do and do what you love. And the rewards are incredible, absolutely incredible.
Lovely. So, you know, you obviously speak to having a beautiful heart, number one, and I can not only see that and read that, but I can feel that in terms of your energy. You really are sensational and exceptional, and you have this wonderful growth mindset, which I think is so wonderful. I think that if we have a growth mindset and continue to be curious, then the world becomes our oysters. I know that I have to ask you this question because I want to know too. What is your secret to your beautiful longevity? Like, I can see when it comes to someone like you, there is health span there and there's lifespan there. What does Amy do to get this Amy look?
Thank you, my mirror. I think it's good genes, number one. And I have had incredible advice from my mom from a very young age. We're 4 girls, and she always says it's about the packaging so that people can see what's inside, you know? So whatever is inside, package it the same way. And I loved that, you know? So we were encouraged to look after our skins and eat healthily and let the world see your joy in the way you dress and the way you respond. I mean, I get a little bit wild, but that's okay.
I love that fun side to you.
Yes, no, I do. I was probably my mom's busiest child. So I know all about ADHD and all of those things.
Okay.
Climbing couches and close your mouth when you eat, Amy, and sit nicely and laugh so loudly. Close your mouth.
I knew she was going to be fun. Amy, you are an absolute joy, and I feel like we need an entire show that is dedicated to finding out more about your life, because we've literally only touched the surface. Thank you so much for being here. So whether you admire her for her philanthropy and ambassadorship or her entrepreneurial and business skills, Amy Kleinhans is a true icon and part of the South African fabric. So on social media, we would like to know from you, what is your dream job? Comment on our social media pages and don't forget to use the hashtag Afternoon Express. And stay tuned, because after the break we will make a smashed avo and egg sandwich and unpack how to assert yourself at work without being arrogant.
Welcome back. Smashed avo on toast really is a vibe, and that's why you see it on just about every restaurant menu. And if you make it at home, you can just add an egg and have a healthy, protein-packed sandwich that is perfect for work. So follow along and learn the steps. Dumi?
Yes. Okay.
You are literally bringing one of my favorite, most simplest foods onto Afternoon Express.
And the thing is, South Africa, you should see Palesa chomping down on that avo sandwich. You actually enjoy it, friend. And the way you eat it makes me want to eat it more often. So we're going to be making a nice, delicious, tasty avo on toast sandwich that also has some egg. But obviously, if you don't already know South Africa, if you want to make sure that your avo doesn't go brown too quickly, great addition is some lemon juice. I've got some that's already freshly squeezed into here. This is just to make sure that, I almost forgot my spoon. This is just to make sure that obviously that it stays nice and bright, you know, during the day as you go throughout your day.
And not only does it keep it green and stop it from oxidizing, but I love the zesty tanginess that the lemon juice adds. But before we get into the avo and the assembling of the sandwich, what is our base? What are we spreading on our bread?
And I love that you mentioned the word spreading, which is one of the main reasons why we've chosen to use our clover butter spread today, because of the spreadability. It is nice and soft and creamy. I mean, just look at it. It's even glistening, just to show you how creamy it is. So this makes it so easy to spread onto your bread, because the last thing you want, Balisa, when you're ready to eat that sandwich, and then it just tears apart because your butter is too hard. So this is a great option for that. Let me just take another scoop. It's just so...
I like to double-side it, you know. Growing up at home, Mom used to say, don't waste your spread. Do not waste some of that spread.
Correct.
Only use it on one piece of the bread. But Mommy, I am here to tell you, I'm now a working girl. I've got my own money, and I definitely use the spread on both sides of the sandwich.
I know what you mean, because even growing up, it was a thing where just part of the one side and put everything else. So we're definitely doing that. And the great part about this is that it also is an affordable product. So you don't have to worry about it, hurting you so much in the bank. So that's the first layer of our sandwich down. We're now going to go in with our avo. Okay. So obviously this time we've chosen to smash it, but if you choose to if you like your avo still whole, you're more than welcome just to slice it up. But just having avo on toast for me is just epic in its own.
And for me, it brings up such nostalgic moments, because being born and raised in Durban, there's an avocado tree in every koko, every auntie, and every mkulu's backyard. And we used to literally climb the trees, grab the avocado, smash it, slice it with salt, without salt. This is a staple in Durban.
To make this more indulgent is what we're going to do. We're going to add some crunch to it. So in here, I've got some cumin seeds for a bit of taste. We've got some sesame seeds as well. So our cumin seeds here, I'm a fan of cumin, whether you have it as a spice in your food, but this is a great addition to
I like it in chicken.
Exactly, great addition. And we've got some sesame seeds as well. And we were speaking about chia seeds. Chia seeds are a great source of fiber and protein as well. So that's a great addition as well. I've seasoned it with just a bit of salt and pepper, obviously, for that additional taste. And we're just going to sprinkle this nicely over the avo to give us that crunch element, because when we talk about food, we talk about textures as well, right?
You know, I have never thought of adding seeds to the smashed avo and egg toast because for me, I do love the softness, but sometimes it can be too soft. Sometimes you need some of that texture to work through.
I get you.
So I love that addition.
Now, Pali, we're going to go into the next step of our sandwich here, which is adding our egg. And I know we've been talking about toast. This sandwich works either way, whether you're toasting the bread or not. Most people choose to toast it so that it stays, firmer the entire time while you're at work. But I think whatever works for you, you know. And we've also chosen to boil our eggs. If you prefer your eggs poached, that's also an option. Some people like their eggs scrambled. It really is about how you like your eggs. But for this particular recipe, we've chosen to boil them. And I mean, the only thing that I know I had an issue with in school when people spoke about boiled eggs is the smell. Yeah, this, that, and the other. Guys, it's food. It's good for you. It's nutritious. And if you're going to look for everything that's wrong with it, then there's the first problem. You are the problem. You know, it's nutritious. It's good for you. It's healthy. Like you were talking about the good fats. There's the good fats in the yolk itself and in the avo as well. Yeah. So I'm just going to spread a bit more of my avo on the other side here because I like a double avo on my sandwich. Yeah. And then we're going to close our sandwich up. And this is, Bali, I know you've been waiting to have a bite of that, but maybe let's wait until after the show.
Oh, I thought this was my moment to shine. I thought this was my moment to dive in because it looks absolutely gourmet. Whether you make it at home or order it at a restaurant, it is nothing but goodness. And this is what it's all about.
Oh, Bali, can I go in for a bite?
Oh, girl, feel free. I'm not here to stop you.
Not doing TV bites today.
This is a recipe that you can take to work with you. You can eat it and enjoy it at home. 10 out of 10.
The crunchiness of the chia seeds, the sesame and the cumin works so well with the creamy clover butter in there.
I love that. Now, for myself, I would add a dash of chilies, but you know me, make yourself a work lunch that you can look forward to. The smashed avo and egg sandwich is delicious, tasty, and easy to whip up. You can get the recipe at afternoonexpress.co.za. Cheers!
Introducing the all-new Clover Full Cream Butter Spread. Smooth, creamy, and effortlessly spreadable. Butter up your day with Clover Butter Spread.
Smashed avo and egg, one of my absolute go-tos. So we spoke earlier in the month about self-esteem and we want to move it to the workplace. Now, confidence and arrogance are easily conflated given that they both stem from self-esteem. But knowing how to be more confident at work requires understanding how arrogance poorly affects others and, of course, yourself. Tato is back to share some of her workplace wisdom. There's a fine line between the two, right?
Very
Arrogance and confidence.
Yeah, very fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Arrogance is when you have a inflated ego and you don't listen to criticism. So in a team environment, if somebody says you've made a mistake, when you're arrogant, it's not easy for you to admit those mistakes. When you're arrogant, you want to put others down in order for you to feel that you are valuable or you're doing something. So, and then confidence is the opposite. Confidence is you building up skills so that you are confident. So it's basically willingness to try new things, new attitudes, new ways of working, new ways of doing things. So when you are confident, you are always open to learning and open to other people influencing and investing in your learning. So you're not closed-minded and you're not arrogant.
Yes, you're open to the feedback.
Yes.
So I love what you say, but all of this stems from awareness, right?
Yeah.
We've got to have some semblance of awareness to know that our egos are really huge. So in terms of your experience and employees that you've worked with, how do you deal with working with someone that is arrogant and doesn't know that their ego is impacting their arrogance?
So we get called in when something like that happens because in human resources degree we study psychology as well. So we come in and help the person actually realize that. So I'll have a coaching session with them and make them aware, without me being unkind to them. So maybe speak to them about certain behaviors, and if the person still doesn't get it, then we book them for training. It's actually called emotional intelligence training.
Love that.
Where the people then get, this happens mostly when we have very technical people, like type A personalities, like analysts or engineers, and then they do well in their work, and then their bosses go, okay, I can promote them to look after another team, and then that's when the wheels fall off, because technical people are used to just giving outputs from themselves. They're not really, sometimes they're not really good at delegating, so to work through other people.
Yes.
So we found that with emotional intelligence training, we actually drop those walls, because technical people, they want to win everything, so they're highly competitive, so they don't understand that they can actually work through their people.
Yes, that is so interesting, because emotional intelligence, if ever it's become important with the advent of AI, it's right now, right, that we have emotional intelligence and that we continue expanding that.
Yeah.
So I'd love to ask you, how does one cultivate confidence in the workplace? So say, for example, you're not confident at all. How do you cultivate that confidence?
So you can basically keep abreast of what your technical capabilities are in your space, so learning new skills. So when you know how to do something, it boosts your self-confidence or self-efficacy. You can also like emulate your peers that are like sort of confident, so like look at Zoraida, okay, she's wearing this today, okay, whatever, you know. So honestly, people, you copy others, so you assimilate that behavior.
Okay.
Dress for success, you know, when you look nice and when you've dressed well, you somehow feel good about yourself, so that like boosts up your confidence. What else? Just teach yourself to stay away from negative thinking or negative ideologies or gossip, whatever. So work on your mindset. So working on mindset sort of removes you from not feeling confident or getting to the arrogant part, because mindset then teaches you a lot about yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I see that's a big thing on social media at the moment. It's kind of like figure out who it is that you want to be, walk like her, talk like her, dress like her or him, or whatever you choose to call yourself.
Yes.
And be that person until you are that person.
Yeah.
So you believe in that too?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of like the positive of fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
it's actually more intentional and positive.
It's
and
an
kind.
affirmation.
Yes.
So it's not.
It's an emulation.
Yes, there we go.
It's an emulation. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me, because I love getting personal with our guests, can you tell me of an experience you've had, because we're all fallible human beings, right?
Yeah.
In your career where you have felt insecure with low self-esteem, and what are the tools that you've turned to help navigate that period so that you could feel confident again?
All right, cool. So it was a long time ago, maybe 11 years ago. I was 30, and I had been working for the CSR, so it's like a research firm, and I sort of had resigned, and then I was headhunted by a software house, and they were like, okay, we want you to come and head up our HR department. And then I got there, and I had 12 reports, some people based in India, some people based in Pretoria. The office was based in Houghton, Joburg, some people based in Cape Town, and the team had been working together for 5 years, and then here I am. And they're like, okay, you manage, you know, like what? So I was like over my head. I didn't know how to do that. So I hired a life coach, and then she helped me navigate. It's so powerful, because the tools that she gave me were so invaluable. I mean, I couldn't have read that from a book.
Yeah.
She was like, no, do this, do that, and it worked.
I love that. I'm all about coaches. You know, if you want to excel in your sport, get a coach. You want to excel in your personal development, get a coach. I love that. Thank you so much.
I believe in coaches.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Me too. I'm first in line. Tato, it's always a pleasure having you in studio.
Thank you so much.
Well, there you go. What simple yet sage advice Tato always gives us. A bit later on in the show, we will give you some tips on how to recover from a bad day at work.
Welcome back. Now, do you fall asleep at your desk after your lunch break? Or do you feel a little brain fog after 3 in the afternoon? Well, these peanut butter balls will give you that energy to get you through the day. Dumi?
Yeah?
Amy? If you're anything like me, after that lunchtime break, I just want to fall asleep.
Girl.
No, I call it the itis.
It's 100%, it's reality. it happens.
It happens. So, Dumi, how are we able to get over that little bit of a slump?
I think most people forget how important nutrition is when it comes to things like that. Making sure you keep your energy levels at a point where it sustains you throughout the day.
Yeah.
The mistake that we all make is that we take these foods that are high in sugar, that lift up our dopamine and get the energy running, and then we feel the slump, and now we need to keep doing that, versus what we've got here. This is a snack that you could have any time during the day. It literally gives you that energy boost, and it sustains you throughout the day, keeping you fuller because of stuff like your oats that's in there. You know, it's got good source of fiber. We've also got, we've got a couple of ingredients. I want to take you through them. I mean, this is something that's simple, but is so flavorful and nutritious for you.
Nice.
Let's start with the chia seeds.
Oh, I love those.
I know, right?
I love those. I like crunchy food.
Crunchy food that is also good for you, but also serves a purpose, you know? So if we look at this, chia seeds are not only good for, you know, your smoothies. They're not only good for bulking up your porridge. They're also good for that crunch, like you mentioned. But they're a great source of fiber, a great source of plant-based protein, which means that it's going to sustain you throughout the day, and you won't have to go through that slump that we're talking about.
And as we are touching base on the chia seeds, I mean, everyone who knows me here at Afternoon Express knows that I've got a little bit of a mixture that I have every single morning.
What's that?
So I take chia seeds, just about a tablespoon of chia seeds.
Okay.
I put them in normal, lukewarm, filtered water.
Okay, yeah.
I wait until they bulk up, until they get activated, until they become almost like a jelly. And then I add just another tablespoon of lemon juice, put it inside, mix it up, and I chug it. And, you know, it helps you be more regular. And also, you know, people who struggle with belly fat, like myself, chia seeds are iconic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you so much.
I got you, girl.
And this is why this is so important, because when you talk about that, you're talking about gut health as well. So when you've got stuff like this, these are good for your gut. The microbiome, making sure good to you are sustained. Okay. So let me just take you through what I've added in here. We've got some peanut butter, and I would suggest as well, just use the no sugar added one, because also with minimizing that sugar content inside. And then we're going to add in here, we've got some coconut, some shredded coconut.
Oh,
Yes.
I love coconut.
The flavor, and also the good source of fat as well, and some cinnamon for a touch of flavor. And then into this, I'm going in with some of my flax seeds.
Flaxseed, yeah.
Also, great source of fiber. And for the ladies that keep talking about the collagen and making sure the skin is good, this is also a great addition to that. So even though you might be going through a slump, if you have these things, it helps you not only with your energy levels, but you also know that it's doing good for your body, you know? And then we go in with the chia seeds I was singing praises about, because I also absolutely love them. Palasa, I've gotten Buhlokwa into loving these things. My son is one of those people who actually enjoys this. Okay. And making this for school also means that as a parent, you feel guilt-free about serving this to your child. True. Because they'll enjoy it while they're at school, but they also maintain...
It's a nice sweet treat, but it's actually good for
Yeah, and it maintains their energy levels as well. But all those parents that are still at work, hustle and bustle, this is a great snack to do that. So I'm just going to add everything together and start rolling these for us.
As you do roll it up, I mean, you've also got some chocolate chips in there, just adding more flavor. You have been Miss South Africa since 1992.
100 years ago.
But how do you still look so... I bet you've been eating tons of these protein balls because you look incredible.
No, thank you so much. Well, my son actually is a peanut butter absolute fundi. He's bodybuilding. He goes, Mom, just take a teaspoon of peanut butter, you'll be fine.
Girl, you look incredible. So as I give you your taste test, let us know how Dumi's incredible snack balls are.
Very nice.
Very crunchy.
I like it. Listen, can you freeze these things?
That's another great idea. You definitely can do that. So you can buy in bulk, make these ahead of time, and then when it's time for your skaftin, it's a great addition to your lunchbox. Great addition
I'm trying to take something. I want to taste of my own.
And Amy's like, no. Was it that good?
Amazing.
Really? I'm glad you love it. And there we go. You just roll them up into nice little balls. However big you want them, however small you want them, depending on your appetite. And that's good, clean eating. That's good for your gut while you're at work.
I love it. Any last questions as to how to put this together? We know we can freeze them. They're freezer friendly. They're good for your skin, good for your energy levels, and also they actually are nutritious.
Yeah. And they're so nice because normally things that are healthy taste like cardboard.
And that's the thing. Most people would go for the high sugar stuff, like your, you know, your chocolates, your snacks. That is the replacement for that.
It's brilliant. I was actually just thinking we could put it into an ice tray and do squares.
Look at this girl. Do you want to just come take my job?
I've got 4 children, I should know.
Yeah, you should. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the kitchen. South Africa, if you do want to get your hands on this recipe, please do go to afternoonexpress.co.za. Here is to health, wellness, and beating that midday slump.
There are stories of strivers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. Absa.
Every year, the Absa L'Atelier competition invites emerging visual artists from across Africa to showcase their talents. This esteemed competition not only celebrates artistic expression, but also provides winning artists with the chance to enhance their skills and thrive as artistic entrepreneurs. If you dream of becoming an artist, this could be your opportunity to shine. Just imagine, one day your artwork could be featured in a gallery just like this. Now, if that's a dream of yours, Absa wants to make it happen. The entries for their Pan-African L'Atelier 2024 art competition have now opened, and I'm here to find out how you can enter and showcase your art to the world.
Hi, Palisa. Welcome to Absa.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul. What a beautiful gallery. Can you tell me a little bit more about Absa's L'Atelier art competition and its commitment to serving emerging African artists?
The Absa L'Atelier has been running for 38 years across the African continent, and it is focused on young and emerging artists aged 21 through to 40, whether they're professionally trained, self-taught, may enter the competition. And it is focused on building their brand, building up their identity within the visual arts, and almost jump-starting their careers.
How does this competition then speak to Absa's brand purpose and commitment to African art?
Each artist has been on a journey to really get to where they are within their careers, and we want them to share their stories with us. It is part of our force for good as Absa as well, because what's important is in terms of the prizes that help that artist further take their career forward.
And you've touched on exactly that. We have been focusing on Absa's brand ethos of Your Story Matters.
And what we're asking each of these artists to do is to share their story, their journey. Each of them have got a unique story to take, whether it has been around challenges that they've had to overcome, sacrifices, or people that have helped them on their journey. But as we say, each painting is worth 1,000 words. And whether you're an art lover, someone who's just interested in the arts, or an artist themselves, these stories become inspirational to a future generation of artists. Elisa, shall we continue our journey through, and let's have a look at more of the works within this space?
Can't wait. Paul, what outstanding artworks. It makes me so proud and excited for all African artists. Now, I do know that the competition has already started, but for how long is it running until? Who is eligible to enter, and what is that competition mechanism?
Thank you, Palisa, and you're right. The competition has already opened, and artists have until the 31st of May to enter. So they've still got a bit of time, and what we are asking the artists to do is go online, go onto the L'Atelier website, and once they registered the details, follow the online prompts, upload the entries. It's really fairly simple.
Now, I'm sure the question on everyone's lips is what's in store for the winners?
Well, firstly, we provide each winner with a laptop, giving them access to the internet, to the virtual world, and so on. They get put through 10 master classes with leading authorities from across the globe around business practice within the arts. Each winner then gets paired up with a leading art authority from their country, who will then mentor them for about 3 months. During this period as well, the winners take up collaboratively together, they take up a 2-month residency in South Africa where they can come together, share their skills, share their journey that they've gone with. But lastly, they're working towards an in-country solo exhibition. So by the end of this period, the artists have been empowered, they've built their brand up, and from an Absa perspective, this is part of our force for good of supporting young artists from across the continent. We also have a specific prize for a South African artist. That is Absa L'Atelier Gerald Sokoto Award. Now that is sponsored by the French Embassy in South Africa and IFAS. And just like the other prizes, Palisa, this particular prize, The artist gets a 3-month residency in Paris, France, and then upon their return, they have a solo exhibition within the Absa Gallery. Again, about building their profile and give their identity within the visual art, but also giving them an experience where they can pool and share their story through their artworks.
That's absolutely beautiful to see, that you're not only focusing on creativity, but building the business behind every artist. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Palisa.
There you have it. Whether you are self-taught or formally trained, believe in yourself, take the plunge and enter Absa's L'Atelier art competition. This could be your opportunity to shine and create the next chapter in your story.
We're in Zanzibar for Tropical Island of Treasure. Are you? Did you just swim here from South Africa? There's an easier way to find fame and your share of a smooth R1 million fortune. Simply upload your audition to social media, explain why you're a match for our celebs. Add the hashtag Tropica and tag @MyTropica, and we could see you in Zanzibar. Buy a Tropica now and enter to be on the island.
Having a bad day at work can lead to decreased productivity and affect how you feel about your job. Everyone has challenging work days sometimes, but the key is to find strategies to help you overcome them, and we are about to unpack a few. Ladies, this is now relatable content. I'm sure everyone knows how it feels to have a bad work day, but now it's about overcoming them, finding the gold at the end of the rainbow. How are you ladies able to do it? I mean, for myself, sometimes when it's in the heat of the moment, I just need to take a break.
So I think for me personally, it's the awareness. It's knowing that you've got to exercise grace in that moment. You've got to realize that this moment is not forever, that it's going to pass. So that is step number one. Be aware that the moment is going to pass. And then after you've done that, then there are tools, there are techniques, there are strategies that we can use to hack us to feel good again. So for me, it starts with the awareness and exercising grace.
And for yourself, Amy?
Yes, I definitely agree with you, Z, because it actually is, you catch yourself and then you can literally just step back and see the wood from the trees and just go, now you need to stop being passive-aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you just calm it down a little bit, or just give it a little bit of a space. That's the most important thing, is the pause. You know, that reset button. What I actually find really interesting, if I'm sitting at my desk and that moment happens, you know, you go straight into gratitude. You do 5 or 6 or 10, just jot down what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And so where your attention flows, your focus goes, and that's what you get back. So, you know, for us, it's very easy to get sucked into the dark of the day or the sour of the day and get mulled in through it. Whereas if you actually can just look at the sweet of where you are, how healthy you are, the fact that you've got a job, and that, you know, when you're being challenged, you're growing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge benefit to that also. So for me, that's the most important thing. That pause, reset, and then just go into your gratitude.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at us, got jobs.
When it comes to evaluating your day, Amy, how does that look like?
I think for me it's really good to actually be reflective.
Yeah.
So what I do is I take my cell phone and I leave it in the boot. Because it's really distracting. And I easily, and it's terrible to say so, but you keep peering, even if you're driving, you know what I mean? And then actually just do that whole, just step out a little bit and quieten yourself down. And when that happens, you just find that the stillness in you brings about, oh gosh, I should have actually, I shouldn't have responded like that for the day, or I've got to actually just watch that in my personality, or I've got to know that Z actually quite often, you know, pushes my buttons, and that's reflective thinking going, and you do it at work, and then you apply it at home also. Same thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely same thing with children, with dogs. cats.
Yeah. I love, you know what I love about what Amy's saying? You can hear clearly that Amy knows herself. So when you know yourself, you know what to do. When you know yourself, you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So Amy knows that her phone, when she's feeling a certain way, is bad news for her. So number one, know yourself. I, for example, when I'm not feeling good, I go inward. I don't want to see people. I want to be on my own.
Same.
I will either choose to read, or I'll choose to listen to a podcast or music, or I'll journal. Some people need the external. Some people maybe need to go for a walk or go for an exercise or call a friend. Know what is going to feed you in the most positive way and then apply that. That's important.
Yeah.
And when it comes to ending the day on a positive note, how then do you pour into yourself after having a particularly negative day and end that day on a good note?
You know, like Amy was saying, when you write into gratitude, and sometimes this is what's powerful about gratitude, is you can also ask yourself what was right about that situation.
Okay.
So if a situation was really tumultuous, it was perhaps there to teach you a lesson about yourself. And if you have the awareness to access that, you will value that the situation took place. And then I'm going to go back to the basics and the pillars of health. If you're not feeling well, eat something that is nutritious, but sometimes we also need comfort food. So when I'm not feeling good, curry and rice is my go-to because it takes me straight back to my childhood. It takes me back to warmth and comfort. So whether the meal is nutritious or not, I will go back to my comfort ancestral food. Know what works for you is my answer.
I love that. And for you, Amy?
I think the easiest way for me to shift is probably to just literally take off what you have on. Kick your shoes off. Just go and stand with your feet on the grass.
Yes, ground.
And it completely just grounds me. Or I'll put on my bather and just jump into the pool. And I'm in a complete... Then again, it's eased my ADHD. That doesn't... But it is. Just shed, physically shed what you're wearing.
Yes.
And go in and it just puts on lovely music and open up the doors, stand barefoot in your kitchen and have a glass of water. Honestly, just shifts you into a completely different energy zone.
I love that. And both of you, what you're speaking of also kind of speaks to my pillar, which is just treat yourself. Treat yourself. Do not be hard on yourself. Be mindful of your triggers. Be mindful of how you react to those triggers and how you respond. But at the end of the day, pour into yourself because a little bit of your cup was spilt. But it's all for a reason and a purpose and for a better day. Which leads me to our social media question. Whether it's a good day or a bad day, what is your dream job? Remember to use the hashtag #AfternoonExpress in all of your comments. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much, Z. And thank you so much, Tato and Domi, for all of your contributions throughout the hour. It is truly invaluable. Now, Mzansi, it is time for us to say goodbye. Please do remember to catch the repeats of the show on Sunday at 8:30 a.m. But for now, enjoy Workers' Day tomorrow. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday. Goodbye.
Introducing the all-new Clover Full Cream Butter Spread. Smooth, creamy and effortlessly spreadable. Butter up your day with Clover Butter Spread.
Another feel-good production.